International Trade Focus is brought to you by GOIL and Agricultural Development Bank.
Coming up on International Trade Focus,
we shall take a look at gold jewelry and its economic importance in the development of Ghana. And later,
the Vice President of the United States of America, Mrs. Kamala Harris, has reiterated the United States of America's commitment to help Ghana reform its economy. It's no secret that the African continent is important to the production of precious metals and minerals, but one cannot help but wonder why very little is manufactured on the continent that the vast majority of precious metals and minerals are extracted from. Ghana and South Africa are among the top 10 leading producers of gold in the world, but their market share is very little. In an era where industry players are touting the importance of value addition and import substitution, we want to take a look at gold production in general and its importance to the economic development of a country like Ghana. My name is Anas Pugh, and this is International Trade Focus. International Trade Focus is brought to you by GOIL, Good Energy, ADB, Truly Agric and more, Public Elegance and Peduase Valley Resort. Stick and stay.
Here's innovation from GOIL that takes you further. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and GOIL has innovated to stay ahead with expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. GOIL. Good energy.
Are you an importer or exporter? Do you need quick financing at the best rate on the market? ADB has good news for you. Walk into any agricultural development bank location nationwide for that solution to all your trade financing needs. ADB offers you pre-financing of exports and imports, post-shipment credit facilities, bank guarantees, the issuance and acceptance of letters of credit, documentary bills for collection, outward documentary collection. Enjoy free advisory services from our well-trained, dedicated trade officers. Exporters of agricultural products are encouraged to take advantage of this great service. For further enquiries, call us on 0302 210 210. ADB, making trade finance easy. ADB, Truly Agric and more.
Breathtaking picturesque views, the essence of tranquility recrafted. What's your desire? A romantic expedition, syndicate sessions, banquets and conferences, or a discreet weekend getaway? Just name it. It is exclusively packaged for you at Peduase Valley Resort. Every spacious rooms, ultra-modern gym facilities, games, indoors, terrace and lawn restaurants and lounges, cozy private dining, and all. The swimmer's paradise. Aquaba, any day, all year round to Peduase Valley Resort. The acts of serenity, skillfully served.
Up next is our focal point segment. It's no secret that the African continent is a major source of precious metals. As at 2021, global gold production had reached approximately 3,000 tons. Out of this figure, Africa contributed nearly a quarter, with total gold mine production in the continent amounting to some 680 tons in 2021. Ghana is currently the leading African gold-producing country and sixth in the world, with the country's gold production amounting to a total of 117.6 tons in 2021. Gold export comprises roughly 90% of Ghana's total mineral export and 49% of its total export value. Taking a look at the prospects of the global jewelry industry, one cannot help but wonder why very little of gold produced in the country is manufactured into jewelry. Let's put things into perspective. In 2021, global sales for jewelry exported by all countries totaled $98.8 billion. The 5 biggest exporters of jewelry in 2021 were mainland China, Switzerland, India, Hong Kong, and Italy. Together, these countries sold over half of globally exported jewelry, with China exporting $12.5 billion worth of jewelry despite being a gold-producing country. On the other hand, as of June 2021, the value of raw gold exports from Ghana reached approximately $2.7 billion, with an undocumented insignificant amount of jewelry. Simply put, exporting gold in its raw form prevents Ghana from reaping the maximum benefits of being Africa's largest producer of gold. Industry players say value addition is the way to go, and the role that jewelry makers play in value addition cannot be overemphasized. Although Ghana has a jewelry industry, its current state is frail. Jonathan Ababio is the president of the Jewelers Association Ghana. International Trade Focus sought his views on the current state of jewelry making in Ghana and the importance of value addition. Currently, there are about 800 jewelers operating in Ghana. The president of the Jewelers Association says a myriad of problems chased a lot of jewelers away from the industry in the past. He is, however, optimistic that with the current turn of events, a lot of them will be coming back.
In approximation, about 800, if I would say. There may be a lot more. But in our books, those we have registered, we have about 270 who are registered with us. So we're gradually trying to bring a lot more on board. The problem we've had is a lot of the older ones, some people have actually stopped working because of the difficulties they were facing. And there are also some younger ones who ended up in other industries because it was difficult trying to start off. Getting the gold was a problem, equipment was more expensive, so there were a myriad of problems which are being addressed now. And I must say, a lot of people are coming back and new people are being trained to join as well.
We've already established that it's important to add value to gold mined in Ghana before we export. But why?
As you've heard time and again, Ghana has been exporting gold in its raw state from time immemorial. When mining took on a commercial level, most of the mines were producing and shipping out in Dori. Now, a country that ships out its material in raw state, let's say we've been shipping out timber for years. We've been making some money, but are we really making what is due the country? Furthermore, it adds a different level of employment when we reserve some of the material to use. If we are able to add more value, we would be employing a lot more people, training more people. Recently we saw the queues when some of the security agencies were employing. Look at the number of young people that turned out there. Can you imagine if just about 15% of those people were trained to work within the industry? Imagine the number of jobs. And a lot of them would end up being entrepreneurs and probably employing others. So let's say if we're able to train 100 people, imagine them setting up businesses and taking on, say, 2 to 3 people each. Effectively, you have about 300 people straight away being employed. And that is not the burden of government. These are private people who are employing. And with a lot more support, they would grow. And that would help ease our unemployment issue considerably.
Jonathan Ababio reiterated the importance of a collaborative effort from all agencies, public and private sector alike, to help Ghana derive maximum returns from gold production. Although all is not rosy, President of the Jewelers Association Ghana is hopeful. He believes with the current steps being taken by policymakers and the private sector, the future of Ghana's jewelry industry is bright.
Yeah, first and foremost, a lot more training should be made available. And I'm very happy to say I actually happen to be part of a committee working with CTVET to restructure the curriculum that is in place. We started with the polytechnics, and now we're moving on to the secondary schools, the SS, and to even JSS, where people will be introduced to rudimentary stages of jewelry making. You know, a lot of people don't know that you can train as a goldsmith or a jeweler in this country. They think you just have to go through an apprenticeship system. Yes, a lot of people who are in the industry have been through apprenticeships, but you can also go through the school system and gradually get on board. One school I know that has been doing very well is Labone School, and they, consistently have been training students, and some of them have just finished Labone and haven't gone any further, and some of them have actually set up and are doing really well. So with the polytechnics being, helped or assisted to grow the technical bit and build up the curriculum, I think it's going to change the terrain considerably. And also introducing students from the secondary bit. It's not going to be very detailed, but it gives them a fair idea of what is available to them. There's some people who are naturally gifted artistically and can work, once they're taught how to work the material, they would pick it up from there and come up with interesting stuff. And it also is providing extra hands for the jewelry industry, because they effectively would have had a bit of a feel of it. And so when they come out, they would come out with a certificate. The way the program is being designed, they would have a certificate to say that they are proficient in jewelry making. So when they go for apprenticeships with jewelers who are already established, they already have some knowledge which they can apply. And it will also make it easier for the people who are training them to build on what they have. And from then on, they can either go to university and continue, or continue through polytechnics. But for those who cannot continue, at least they have something they can do, from that point. And some people would actually work, raise money, and continue to pay their school fees, because you come across people who consistently say, oh, I stopped because there was no one to give me support. So does that mean that if there's no support, you just can't continue? There has to be a way out. And I think that's one thing the government is really addressing with this technical proficiency that is being put together, and would really help, the economy. 3 years ago, we worked on a policy document for government in terms of assisting the industry more. They wanted to know what best can be done. So MINCOM, Minerals Commission, leading the way, they put together a team of us, and we sort of made the recommendations that are at cabinet level. Some of the recommendations were in terms of assisting to or cutting down the taxes for equipment used in jewelry production, because already the industry is struggling. People cannot afford the equipment because the prices are so high, and also assisting with policy that would provide gold in the environment, as we recommended that if 30% is retained, there'll be a lot more raw material in the country for jewelers. Because what was happening is that jewelers were always competing against international buyers. If you're not offering the sort of prices, since you're dealing with forecast buyers, if you're not offering the sort of prices they are, you're priced out. Because they have dollar indexed, financing. And so they can easily offer slightly higher prices to the mining companies or the small scale miners. And then they in turn, would sell it to them rather than sell it to the jewelers. So if there's gold retained on the market, it provides a lot more raw material. It's easy to get and to buy. And also, now the country is moving more towards sustainable gold mining. Sometimes there's a bit of a hype, with Ghana gold being shipped out most of the time. It ends up in Dubai, and Dubai will publicize it as Ghana gold refined in Dubai, trying to say that it being refined in Dubai is much better than you getting anything from Ghana. You know, and that perception has to change. And unfortunately, people have bought into it, and Ghanaians have bought into it, so they'd rather buy jewelry in Dubai than rather than buy it locally. Also on board is a standards board. They have also come on board to ensure that our standards are international. Whereas, you know, if we say it's say we've made a piece, it's 10 grams, you can be rest assured that it is 10 grams when it's weighed anywhere. And also the purity of the material is also taken into consideration. So Standard Board is also on board, and they're rolling out a program where it would help ensure that jewelry produced, you know, meets the standard, international standards.
A strong public-private partnership is crucial in developing a robust jewelry industry that has the capacity to compete globally. The time to act is now, especially at a period where the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA, is in full force. A re-energized indigenous jewelry industry has the potential to generate substantial revenue to boost Ghana's economy. Players within Ghana's jewelry industry are calling for increased investment by various stakeholders, including government, the mining industry, and the wider jewelry world. A warm welcome back. You're watching International Trade Focus. On this week's episode, we're taking a look at the importance of gold jewelry production to an emerging economy like Ghana's. We shall also take a look at the Gold Statement 2022. Our guest on our in-depth segments today is Mrs. Judy Narko-Graham. She is the CEO, Rapport Services Ghana, and also a board member of the Minerals Commission Ghana. Stay tuned. Right, Mrs. Judy Narko-Graham is the CEO, Rapport Services. She's also a Minerals Commission board member. Today, we want to take a look at the importance of gold jewelry production to the economic development of a country like Ghana. We'll also discuss the Gold Statement Conference 2022. Madam Judy Narko-Graham, thank you very much for being a part of our program today.
Thank you very much. I'm always happy to talk to you. It's always enlightening to share information, and I'm glad you're here.
Right. So we will delve straight into the topic for today. Now, we know that Ghana is one of the leading producers of gold on the continent or in the world. But when we take a look at adding value to the raw gold that is mined here, we are doing very little. So what would you say is the importance of adding value to the raw gold that is mined in the country?
Thank you, Anna. We have come a long way. The past 20 years or so, adding value to our gold, the jewelry sector has come a long way compared to what we had, let's say, 20 years ago. And it's all thanks to stakeholders who believe that we cannot, as a country, continue exporting raw gold. We cannot, be behaving as if nothing is changing in the world. As the world changes, we need to change. And we've grown to the stage in this country where value addition has become a main topic in Ghana. Adding value to everything in Ghana. Adding value to gold is one of the primary things, and we are working on it as an institution, as Gold Statement, working with stakeholders like the Minerals Commission, the Small Scale Miners Association, who we are working very close to, Ghana Exporters, Gold Exporters Association, the Chamber of Bullion Exporters. We are trying to bring everybody on board, and that collaboration has helped us to reach very far. Yes.
Right. So when you visit countries like Europe, storefront after storefront, you tend to visit some jewelry stores and you see jewelry made out of gold, minerals like gold, designed beautifully. And there's the argument that perhaps gold producers on this continent, let's use our country for instance, do not have the needed skill to, mold jewelry in the way that the Europeans do, for instance. I know you are in the sector, like the industry proper. What would you say to this? Is that the case? We don't have the needed skill?
Our jewelers and goldsmiths are very skilled, extremely skilled. In fact, we have art forms in Ghana that people come from abroad to study. And these are ancient art forms, and we still have them. The problem we faced in the past, which is changing now, is they have to market our products, the marketing aspect of it. And I think we've moved far from there. Now our jewelry is well known. People come into the country, look for made in Ghana jewelry and buy made in Ghana jewelry, especially people from the diaspora. And the plan now is to take it close to them in the sense that in collaboration with the Greater Accra Regional Minister and his people, some of his MCs, especially Kolo Clotte, we are looking at putting together a jewelry emporium. It's novel, and it takes someone with foresight to come and discuss with you and say, what are you doing? How can we help? How can we bring tourism? Which way do we go? And we are having that discussion with them very, very seriously. And in fact, they're going to be at the conference. They're going to give a presentation on the importance of creating such an emporium. We're working together with other stakeholders like the Chamber of Bullion Traders, Small Scale Miners Association. The whole executive are very much into what we are doing. And Gold Statement has made it a point to go to every place where we can to bring people on board, to work together, and to make Ghana a hub of jewelry production, marketing, and sales. It's extremely important. That is the essence of Gold Statement. That is the essence of Gold Statement.
Right, so we'll delve deeper into Gold Statements, why it started, where you've got into, and all of that. But before that, I want us to establish this. Can you give us some figures of, say, gold that is exported raw as compared to gold as compared to jewelry? So gold that has been molded into jewelry and exported.
I can tell you right away that when you sell raw gold, compared to when you turn it to jewelry, you're making 6 times profit when you turn it to jewelry. It's as simple as that. There's a 92 billion worth of, money to be made out there in jewelry. That's what jewelry is making around the world. All we need is just a small piece of it, as Ghanaians, as Ghana. So that is what we're working towards. Yes, that's what we're working towards.
Yes, and also speaking to some of the jewelers, an issue that is brought up most of the time is, in fact, even sourcing for the raw material locally. Can you throw more light on that?
Yes. Government in the past few years, since 2017, been working towards sustainable and responsible mining, working with the small-scale miners. There's so much has gone on within the industry. We've got to a point where our miners are slowly but surely, taking to the right path and mining responsibly. We haven't got there yet, but we have made inroads and we've taken some very good steps. Talking as a member of the Board of Minerals Commission, we've put in a lot of work. And what Gold Statement has done is that we've been able to partner the Small Scale Miners Association, who are doing responsible mining, with the Jewelers Association of Ghana to work together, so that they'll have supply of responsibly mined gold to be able to create responsible jewelry. Because, we've got to a point where we have to set up, because if you don't produce responsible jewelry from responsibly mined minerals, you could be blacklisted. It has happened to other countries, like Sierra Leone, diamonds, and so on and so forth. So the government is doing everything possible to ensure that our gold is mined responsibly. The big mining companies have their own, ways of doing things. They are internationally, regulated. Our problem is with the small-scale sector, and that's where we are putting all our energy to be, to ensure that the right thing is done so that we are relevant. Ghana gold stays relevant on the market. Because otherwise, you have your gold and nobody wants to buy it. You know, and we don't want to get there because other countries have suffered it. We don't want to be, you know, one of those people. We don't want to have that story surrounding Ghana. No, we don't want to do that.
Right. So, Madam Kayam, so in terms of adding value to the gold that is mined in the country, we'll put this question in two phases. First of all, what role can government play to ensure that the local jewelry producers are, you know, like able to, you know, add proper value to gold that is mined here and exported? What role does government need to play?
Well, government's part is policy development. And we have Minerals Commission being part of government, put together a policy paper on gold value addition. And the paper is with government at the moment. So they are taking steps. We would like the steps they are taking to be faster, but you know, you can't rush some of these things. So we are at a point where we are working closely with them to ensure that the policy direction is in the favor of jewelry production. So that is where we are at the moment. And Gold Statement is bringing a lot of, you know, government people together. We have invited His Excellency the President as a special guest of honor. We are praying he would come. If he doesn't come, I'm sure he would elect someone, you know, just as good to come and take his place. Because you see, at the moment, government is talking to all sectors, looking at value addition, looking at how to produce to feed Ghana and abroad, looking at not importing everything. So I think it's time that government talks to the jewelers as well, talks to the small-scale miners as well. Government should have that tete-a-tete with us. And Gold Statement is a platform we are creating for His Excellency to come and talk to us, yes, and tell us how much he's prepared to help us, which we know he is. Yes.
So for government, policy initiatives are key. And what about the jewelers themselves? What role can they play to ensure that their sector is boosted?
Well, you know, with the jewelers, we are doing a lot of training for them. We're working with partners who are helping with modern equipment. In fact, since last year, many of our jewelers have been able to invest in, you know, state-of-the-art equipment. So they're doing beautiful jewelry. Please come to Gold Statement.
Of course, we'll be there.
They're doing beautiful jewelry now, and with very high specs. They're very, very careful how they, you know, and their products can be compared to any other place internationally. They're doing very, very good work. The other thing that we are looking at too is lapidary, the art of cutting and polishing stones. We have a lady who's concentrating on that, working with a gentleman who used to be with the Geological Survey Authority, because he's very knowledgeable of where all our stones like amethyst, jasper, agate, rose quartz, etc. He knows where they all are. So we are working together, and this lady is the lead person, trying to train young women especially, because you know women are very careful in doing these things, to start cutting and polishing. We want to start from Accra and then take it to the various districts. And we already have promises from Minerals Commission. We have promises from some of our stakeholders to support this initiative.
Right, so what you just said brought my mind to something, employment.
Yes.
So in terms of employment generation, what does the prospects look like if we sort of invest more in the jewelry producing business in the country?
It will create a lot of employment in the districts, especially the mining districts, so that, you know, the women who go and wash the mud and so on and so forth, working in the Galamsey pits, we want to get them out of there. It's not going to be easy because this is what they're used to. If you tell them that you're going to teach them to work with their hands and do something different, you need to be able to let them know that it will be lucrative. We need to have support for them. This is going to be part of government policy. Do you really want to take these people out of the mud to be in clean areas and to do work also with gold? Government has to decide. And this is what we're going to take to them. I remember last year when the Ghana National Association had their, early this year, March, had their annual conference. I was the chairman for the conference. It was held at Prempeh Assembly Hall in Kumasi. And there were a lot of young small-scale miners there. And I asked them, how many of you have jewelry from the gold you produce? Few. So they don't even appreciate that what they're doing, they should also add value to it and put some on. They just can't take it to other people to do it for them. The best they'll do is to go to the market and get these copper things and so on. Yet they are producing gold on a daily basis. This is a matter of inner pride. You have to have that to say to yourself that this gold is precious. I also have to wear it. And it's a matter of engagement. We need to engage them and talk to them. At the moment, we have a very close relationship with the association, the Minerals Commission, and the association. We have a very close relationship. We have monthly meetings, and they bring all their problems on board, and then we try and sort it out. They take it back to their people. So we want other small-scale miners to join the association, to be part of all the good things that government wants to do for them, so that they'll be able to add value to themselves and to their products. Yes.
Right. So one huge canker will be an understatement or challenge that has befallen Ghana's mineral sector is Galamsey, like we've been talking about. So first of all, for the purpose of education, what's the difference between a small-scale miner and someone who is involved in Galamsey?
Well, to start with Galamsey is someone who has no license, has no direction, just going looking for, has heard that there must be gold here. And mind you, they're very, very good geologists. They are native geologists, they know. But sometimes when they go, they don't find what they're looking for. So they just dig around. They will find it, but after creating a lot of havoc. A regulated, licensed small-scale miner is someone who has been to the Minerals Commission, found a concession, got all his papers, his certificates, and so on and so forth, and is mining. Now the Minerals Commission will send inspectors there to inspect what they're doing. If they need some help with technical issues, Minerals Commission will support them in that, and so on. What we have now is the community mining, and there's a module for them. For community mining concession, you have to have an office, you have to have a clinic, you have to have a nurse on duty, a canteen, a changing room, running water before you can start. And then what government does is that they'll help you with a mercury-free processing machine called the Gold Catcher. So government has disbursed quite a few of them, and more government has asked that we bring in more to disburse to more and more people. So you can see that the way forward is good. It just needs the commitment of all involved. We, in Gold Statement, we at the Minerals Commission, and I know the Ministry of Mines as well, will do everything to bring people on board to get the right thing done. As you know, there are people who do the wrong thing anyway, no matter what you do. And those people, what I can say to them is that when you're arrested, 15 years minimum imprisonment, 25 years maximum. So you have to choose whether you want to listen and do the right thing, or you want to end up in trouble. Yeah.
So, and as the board member of the Minerals Commission Ghana, the fight that has been, or the war that has been waged against Galamsey at the moment, do you think perhaps we could go about it in a different way, or we are going in the right direction?
This fight has been going on for years, until 2017 when His Excellency's government came in, and we have continued the fight. Unfortunately for us, and I think now it's common knowledge, those who are sent in there to fight it, collude with the boys. So it's become extremely difficult. So what government is doing is finding ways and means of going there with, without the knowledge that we are coming to be able to grab them. Because otherwise, by the time you get there, they already have wind that you're coming and they disappear. So it is human nature, and it's unfortunate that Ghanaians don't love their country so much that they will say, let's do the right thing. Let's help to do the right thing. I've been put in this place to make sure that certain things don't go on. Let me ensure that those things don't go on. But I think the majority want to do the right thing. And it's just constant engagement. Now the army is in full control. Even the ministry is not part of it anymore. The army is in full control. So we're just hoping that the army commanders would ensure that the people they're taking on the field are the right people, people to be trusted, who will do the right thing. Otherwise, collusion goes on all the time, unfortunately. Now, I'm saying this because it's an open secret. Right. Yes, it's an open secret.
We're speaking to Mrs. Judy Narko Graham. She's the CEO of Rapport Services, also board member of Minerals Commission Ghana. After the break, we'll talk about gold statements. We'll delve deeper into the Gold Statement Project or the Gold Statement Conference. We'll be right back.
Breathtaking picturesque views, the essence of tranquility recrafted. What's your desire? A romantic expedition, syndicate sessions, banquet and conferences, or a discreet weekend getaway? Just name it. It's exclusively packaged for you at Peduasi Valley Resort. Every spacious rooms, ultra-modern gym facilities, games, indoors, terrace and lawn restaurants and lounges, cozy private dining, and all the swimmer's paradise. Aquaba, any day, all year round to Peduasi Valley Resort. The acts of serenity, skillfully served.
Here's innovation from GOIL that takes you further. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and GOIL has innovated to stay ahead with expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. GOIL. Good energy.
A warm welcome back. You're watching International Trade Focus, and this is our in-depth segment. Now, this week we are having a conversation with our board member of Minerals Commission and CEO of Rapport Services, Mrs. Judy Narko Graham. Now, we're coming to talk about the Gold Statement Project or the Gold Statement Conference. Madam, so please tell us about the Gold Statement Project. Just take us way back, how and why you decided to come up with the Gold Statements Project?
Well, you know, I've worked in the mining industry since 1988. 1987, His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings lifted the ban on investment, outside investment into the mining industry. So people, a lot of companies, you know, came from abroad to invest in our mining sector. So in 88, I joined a company called BHP Minerals. That was one of the biggest exploration companies in Ghana at that time. It's a company, it's an Australian company, and I worked with them for 5 years. And during that period, I worked with a lot of new ventures coming into Ghana. And after 5 years, I decided to work on my own. I started my own company, Rapport Services, giving service to clients in the mining industry. And in 97, I was contracted by the Ghana Chamber of Mines as a consultant on a program they had called the Responsible Care Program. And therefore, I had the opportunity to travel all over Ghana to all the mining companies and the mining sites. And then I got really close to gold mining and the fact that it's all, you know, exported out of the country. And that set me thinking. So in 2001, when His Excellency President Kufuor announced his Value Addition to Gold initiative, I started talking to interested parties, people of like minds. And it was at that time that I started working very closely with the College of Jewelry to look at how we could train more and more young people and also exhibit their wares. I linked up with the Private Sector Development Minister at that time was Honorable Kwabena Bartels, yes. And the training that we're getting people to do with our jewelers is the making of filigree, which is a very exquisite way of making jewelry. And you have to be specially skilled. Not everybody can do it. So we want our jewelers, those who don't have that skill, to be trained on that. He was very enthusiastic about it. And then also, around about that same time, the Minister of Mines, who I worked very closely with, was Honorable Ajeda Akun, also very cooperative. And then right after that, Madam Cecilia Bannerman, who's been my mentor ever since and a close friend. So we worked together and looked for the Jewelers Association. At that time, they were called Federation of Ghanaian Jewelers. They still exist, but I think they're very low-key now. The Jewelers Association of Ghana, JAG, was formed, and they're very vibrant. And I got, involved with them, and we've been promoting Made in Ghana jewelry ever since. Gold Statement was actually initiated in 2007. The first conference took place in 2007. So this year we're exactly 15 years. Wow. Yeah, so when we launched and celebrated our 15th anniversary. That was in August. And we've had several conferences since then. And we've been very, very lucky to have sponsors who believe in what we are doing, adding value to Ghana Gold, promoting and marketing, Ghana Gold, selling Ghana Gold jewelry, not just the raw gold.
So you mentioned earlier that this is your 15th year.
Yes.
So what impact would you say that the Gold Statement project has made on industry players?
What it has brought to industry players is more pride in the work they're doing. They are more focused on doing the right thing and getting the right products out. They are advertising more on social media. They're on the net everywhere, which was not the case before. They have been able to invest in modern equipment. They go for training on their own. Young jewelers are going for training to those who they think have better knowledge and so on. They pay their own way and go. It's interesting. That sort of life that has come into the sector, and I think I'm very proud. Yes, I'm very proud that God has given me the wherewithal to be able to push this agenda, and it's bearing fruit. Yes.
So in the next projections into the future, in the next 5 years, how do you see the Gold Statement project, taking form? Well,
the end result is that we should have a big jewelry emporium in Accra to draw tourists, and we should be able to have jewelers who are ready to provide anything anybody wants. Not only in Accra, we should also be able to have centers, Kumasi, Takwa, Obuasi. We should be able to have centers where young miners are now out of small scale, out of Galamsey, and working with gold and making jewelry and promoting it in the various mining districts, So people are not in the mud anymore. They are out of it. They are working in workshops. We want UMAT to work with such people, train them, because now UMAT is setting up a whole department for jewelry making. So these are the things that we expect to happen, which have started happening, and we expect it to grow over the years.
So what do you think the importance is of gold jewelry production to the economic development of an emerging market like Ghana?
Well, firstly, it will put a lot of young people at work. Secondly, it would add value to our gold. And when you say raw gold, the amount you get, if you turn that raw gold into jewelry, gives you 6 times that value. So that's already a huge, upwards adjustment. And it will also give us that pride that we've lost for so long. We are called Gold Coast, and Elmina, that's the land of gold, or the mine. And when you come to Ghana, you don't have a place where you can go and look for gold artifacts, gold ornaments. There's none. There are a few places dotted around, and what you find there isn't captivating. Most of what you find in the shops now are imported from China. It's so sad. It shouldn't be so. We need to have a place where our jewelers will be able to take their products, where they'll be, they have their own back rooms where they'll be manufacturing, or they can take old pieces and clean them or remodel them. We should have a vibrant, very vibrant sector. The jewelry sector should be very, very vibrant to be able to go with the name Gold Coast, to be able to be at par with a country that is one of the biggest producer of raw gold. We should be at par. The manufacture and the brush.
Right. Okay. And how will this boost economic growth in the country?
Oh, number one, as you know, every young woman and every young man who are going to get married will buy jewelry. Your engagement, they bring you jewelry. When you give birth to a child, you give him or her jewelry, etc. So our chiefs, our queen mothers, they wear jewelry. And then we ourselves, when we dress up, going to church, we put on jewelry. So if there's a center where these things are available, and you have not, 18 karat will be too expensive. So we are looking at 9 carats, things that will be much cheaper to fit everybody's pocket. Then you have tourists coming in who have a one-stop shop to shop for any jewelry they want. Or they can even place an order and get whatever they want. This is what we need to have. This is where Ghana should be.
Mrs. Judy Nako Graham is a board member of Minerals Commission Ghana. She's also the CEO of Rapport Services, initiators of the Gold Statements Program. She was our guest for today. We took a look at the importance of gold jewelry production to the development of a country like Ghana. You're watching International Trade Focus. There's news and events after this break. Don't go away.